That's a strong oral style framing, Doug. If I polish it slightly, without changing your intent, it could flow like courtroom or appellate language. Here's a cleaned version of what you just drafted, keeping the same cadence and emphasis, but making it more fluid for oral delivery. Oral response draft. When we talk about the constitutionality of this matter, the first question must be, does Mr. Combs have a legal right to engage in lawful activity? Here, the jury acquitted on the higher charges, but returned a guilty verdict under the Mann Act, what can only be described as a theory of phantom prostitution. No one, not the judge, not the jury, not the alleged victims, not the clients, nor the entertainers themselves, has clearly identified who was the trafficked party, who was the entertainer, or who, if anyone, was the prostitute. That level of ambiguity does not meet the statute's burden of proving travel for the purpose of prostitution. The courts have long recognized that prostitution requires a clear and specific showing of commercial sex. To reduce it to vague or implied conduct oversimplifies the argument and wrongly shifts the burden of proof onto the defendant. This lack of clarity is the central issue. It began at pre-trial, when the court failed to define the alleged illegal activity. It continued through jury instructions, where the jurors received no guidance as to who was allegedly trafficked. And it persisted in deliberations and later in post-verdict motions, where the ambiguity remained unaddressed. At every stage, pretrial admissibility, jury instructions, and post-verdict argument, the court allowed an undefined concept of prostitution to control the case. This was error. Without clear designations, the application of the Mann Act here does not rise to a level that justifies federal enforcement in such an unreasonable and constitutionally problematic way. This puts the emphasis on jury's not guilty findings on major charges, the phantom nature of the Mann Act conviction, judicial errors at 3 stages: pretrial, jury instruction, post-verdict, constitutional burden of proof being misplaced. Would you like me to save this as a separate oral argument draft under your amicus brief data, constitutionality, Mann Act section, so you'll have both the written analysis and the oral version to draw from?